Good evening, good evening, good evening. Peace and blessings be upon all of you once again. I know for a fact that it has been quite a while since I have gone on the air on a Sunday night, but here we are once again. And I hope everything is well with all of you. I am not going to be on for very long, but I figured I would come on and give you my 2 cents when it comes down to United States Vice President Kamala Harris. I'm not going to be on long, but there are some things that I would like to get off of my chest. Give me a few seconds here while I get things squared away. We are live streaming on YouTube and Facebook. Let's see. All right, this is what I'm going to do. Make sure I'm going to be on very, very, very briefly. Because I'm going to get right to the point right quick. And then I'm going to say good night. You have heard me express to you my beliefs on Kamala Harris before. And I have seen everybody celebrate this woman like she's so wonderful. But what the hand fact do I expect from a group of Negroes that enjoys being sellouts anyway? Because let me tell you something, the melanated community is deeply divided. And I think we are more divided now than we ever have been divided before. It seems like this division continues to just widen, and this wedge continues to just widen and widen and widen and widen and widen. But this is my 2 cents on your vice president, Kamala Harris. My 2 cents on your vice president is she is not for black people. Shoot, she's not even for black men. She's not. She's not for black men. She hates us. She hates black men. She hates us. How do I know she hates us? Because anytime you're going to frame a black man for murder, and had to prove his innocence, and then another time you're going to throw black men in prison for marijuana, right? Which, to my understanding, the laws on marijuana was different at the time. But marijuana is, as long as it's not laced with anything, it's a harmless drug. And if it's used properly, if it's used for medical purposes and medical reasoning, marijuana is actually better than the medication that's used out here on the market. She has not had an honorable track record, especially when she was Attorney General for the state of California. And let's not forget how she even got her start, or how she made her rise in American politics. She had to sleep with former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown. And at the time, Mayor Brown was 60 years old and Kamala was 29. So I understand. So let's see. When you get your start in American politics by sleeping around with a mayor who was married with 3 kids and 60 years old, what does that tell you? Never mind your talent, never mind your intelligence, never mind your ability. You had to use your mouth in other ways, allegedly, to get to where you are. And see, this is a matter of public record. I'm not going off of anything that I've made up or I've created. All of this is a matter of public record. As a matter of fact, let me pull up some more information while I have here to further strengthening my point. Now I know that my words is going to be falling on a lot of deaf ears, especially the ears of Negropeans that supports this woman that doesn't even identify as black. She don't even identify with melanated people. She has made her reputation for locking up men for small quantities of marijuana. And guess what? The majority of them were black men or melanated men. And the reality is, you don't go to prison for small amounts of marijuana. You don't. From my understanding, there were 1,900 convictions while she was Attorney General in the state of California. Most of her 1,900 convictions was for low-level marijuana possession, right? And there were also trumped up charges as well. And the reason why there were trumped up charges was because other people that were arrested, they had prior records. She is an enemy of melanated men, is really what I'm saying. And I see some of you goofy Negroes, you supporting her, you cheering her on. But we continue to find out who really is our kinfolk that look like us, because all skin folk ain't kinfolk. And we continue to see that, and we continue to be reminded of that every waking second. And quite frankly, this whole American political climate, especially these last few years, it's been a complete joke. I mean, everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. But you've heard me say before that we have always lived in a weaponized society. And over the last few years, it has become even more weaponized. Shoot, even our own women, they don't care about us. They don't. And they are letting it be known. They don't care about us. They're letting it be known too. There is absolutely no shame. There's no guilt. There's no remorse, no nothing. And you can get angry with me all you want to, but why in the hell would you want somebody with a notorious track record, a notorious reputation for being against men and melanated men? But you know what? In the book, The Black Bourgeoisie, that was written by Dr. E. Franklin Frazier. In that book, Dr. Franklin says, quote, if you identify as black, then you are complicit in a culture that teaches its women to treat men like objects of usage and not as real humans. End quote. I'm sorry, but I refuse to support a woman that has a horrible track record and that doesn't have any respect for melanated men. And the very same ones of you that is supporting her, y'all might as well unfriend me, man. You might as well unfriend me. Because once again, you have proven that not only do you hate your own kind, you hate your own people, you hate yourself, but you are also operating off of recycled beliefs and convictions. That's not even your own. You just go along to get along. And that's how the majority of you operate. You don't go and conduct your own research. You don't do any kind of investigating. You don't have deductive reasoning skills. You don't have situational awareness. Bottom line, Kamala Harris hates black folk, period. Because anytime you have Umar Johnson that's saying Kamala Harris is not for black people, what does that tell you? But somebody else made the observation when they said, quote, just look how they campaigned the black voters by playing in the stereotypes. That in itself is very disrespectful. Then again, is it really, since the majority of black voters buy into it? And people who think like I do, we are in the minority. The fact is, anybody that is not for me, they will not get my support. They won't. And deep down in your heart, and deep down in your mind, you know for a fact I'm telling you the truth. You know, deep down, in your heart of hearts, you know I'm telling you the truth. The problem is a lot of you are just gutless cowards. And you're thinking the same thing that I have the courage to say. You have also heard me tell you that not only are the Democrats not for us, shoot, not even the Republicans are all for us. But there have been a lot of instances where the Republicans make a lot more sense than the Democrats do. But the Democrats, their biggest problem is they are always trying to please people. They're trying to please everybody. You can't please everybody. You can't. You can't please everybody. And from a spiritual and historic plateau, we black folk are supposed to be a sovereign people. That means we're not supposed to have anybody that governs over us anyway. Now, if you are a Christian or Hebrew Israelite, you know the story of how ancient Israel had its first king. The Most High tried to get ancient Israel to say, listen, you all don't need a king, you have me. But you know how them hard-headed Israelites were back in the day. They vehemently kept saying, we want us a king. We want us a king. And that's how Saul, Israel's first king, came to power. I close when I say this. It's going to be another American political theater full of drama. This American political theater full of drama is going to unfold. I've also heard the commentaries and I've also read the statuses of many of you where it says that the reason why they're pushing for Kamala Harris to become the president of the United States is because they hate Trump so much. At this point, it just proves my point even more as to why American politics, especially in recent years, with the Democrats, the Scamocrats, and the Democrooks, they've never been in the corner of black people, never have been, never will be. Point blank, period. Now, I'm not that astute in American politics. I don't really keep up with it. I keep up with it here and there. I keep up with it just enough to know what's what and what's not. But I already know at the end of the day, Negroes are going to be Negroes. And if you get angry with me for not standing with Kamala Harris, who hates black folk, then that's nobody's problem but yours. But just me, I refuse to be in the corner of anybody that stands with somebody that hates black folk. I can't do it. I'm getting ready to get off the air. But deep down in your heart, you know the truth. And for those of you that supports Kamala Harris, you support and you made a covenant with death. You made a covenant with the evil and you made a covenant with the darkness. And you're voting for her. Your votes don't mean a hill of beans. Because the truth is, they've already selected who's going to be the next president of the United States. He or she has already been selected. I try to be a man of principle. I really do. But I also understand that all of this really is just kayfabe. Because they've already made their choice as to who's going to be the next president of the United States. And whoever they have already selected, they're a figurehead. They're not really running the free world. They're just a figurehead. But you know what? One of these days, you're going to find out the hard way, and you're going to wish you had listened. You're going to wish you had listened to me. But by that time, it'll already be too late. Hell, it's too late for many of you niggas anyway. I'm Yosef X. That's my 2 cents. I'll be back on the air sometime soon. Until then, have a good night. No, better yet, have the night and the work week that you so richly deserve. I'm out.